Hey, Pat Rigsby here, and I want to talk with you about how to build wealth as a fitness entrepreneur. In fact, wealth is not a term that often gets thrown around in the fitness industry. We talk about making a profit, we talk about generating more revenue or more clients, but we don't talk about building wealth. And if you're going to be a business owner, building wealth should certainly be a goal. That should be something that drives you because you're putting so much of yourself, your heart, your soul, you're risking a lot to take on the responsibility of owning a business. So we should have a real true end result in mind, not just kind of going through the motions, getting by and settling for being a struggling self-employed person. So how do we build wealth as a fitness entrepreneur? Well, the first thing that we need to do is really fall in love with selling. The reality is business owners do not build wealth if they're not successful in the sales process. You're going to have to embrace that, especially in a service business. You have to understand that you're generating new clients, more business, greater revenue. That's your vehicle for building wealth. And honestly, in our industry, that's something that holds a lot of people back. So this is a great opportunity for you to differentiate yourself, because selling is not this negative thing. It's not something where it's adversarial, you versus a client. It's you partnering with a client to help them reach their goals and you being compensated fairly for the work and the value you're providing. So if you want to build wealth, you have to embrace selling. You have to love selling. And frankly, you need to have a sales system or a sales process in place that allows you to do it successfully and consistently over time, and ideally allows you to scale it up and expand the sales process beyond just yourself. So that's number one. The second thing that you need to embrace or really dial in to build wealth is you have to be willing to delegate and elevate to maximize the return on investment for your time. You're never going to build wealth as a business owner if you're doing everything. If you're the jack of all trades and you're just treating your business as this self-employed operation where you're just a solopreneur. You're going to have to hand some things off. Now, the first things that often we should probably hand off are administrative tasks that really don't require our unique talents, our unique skills, and our unique abilities. Whether it's cleaning the facility, entering information into the books, just doing regular administrative stuff, answering the phone. These are all things that a lot of competent people can do that don't require the unique skills that you bring to the table. So what else can we hand off other than administrative work, other than cleaning, things like that? Well, the next thing up would be to scale the training. So you're not necessarily having to provide all the services yourself. You're hiring other people so you can expand your service offerings without expanding the amount of time you're actually doing the work. Now, beyond that, you can certainly hand off things like advertising. I mean, a lot of people hand off Facebook ads to an ad agency or something of the sort, or they have somebody on their team that they delegate the advertising to. And then finally, we can certainly scale the sales process to hand off some of the responsibilities of selling so every sales appointment doesn't necessarily have to run through you. But the key here is if you're going to be delegating, you've got to set people up to succeed. You've got to tell them what being successful in this role looks like. You've got to build a framework or create a systematic approach that they can follow, and then you've got to coach them to execute that system if we're going to really delegate and elevate so we're spending our time in those highest return activities. Now, just to give you an idea, what are the highest ROI things that you could be doing if you're trying to build wealth? Well, the first would be that visionary and leadership role where you're really painting the picture, you're setting the course for the business, and you're leading the other team or the other members of your team to execute this vision. Now, next on that list would be selling. That's the actual process from taking somebody from prospect to client. Next down the list would either be advertising and marketing, so lead generation, or actual service delivery. But once we've moved past those should be the things that you should be doing And then nothing else should fall onto your plate rather than facilitating the other things being done in the business. See, you don't have to be the doer of all things. You can certainly just be the facilitator of things getting done. And that's going to allow you to expand your reach and grow the business beyond your own shadow. So along those same lines, the third kind of critical factor in building wealth is scaling. Odds are you're not going to be able to build great wealth just doing everything yourself, kind of keeping a small shop and maybe even just in a single location. Sure, you can have a successful business, you can have an okay income, it can be fine, but you're not going to build wealth without expanding your reach, because there are only so many people that you can reach with one single location, especially if it's kind of that small footprint location that so many fitness businesses have. It's going to be almost impossible to build true wealth with that type of business model because there's only so many people that you can reach. There are only so many people in your geographic area that can come in and probably take advantage of what you offer during the times that they're available, what we consider peak hours. So we've got to expand. We either need to add multiple locations so we can reach more people that are outside that initial geographic footprint, or we can expand online. We can do what I call creating a virtual second location and reach people with no geographic boundaries. Maybe reach people that we are truly uniquely equipped to serve. Maybe you have this niche or target market that you are the best person at actually helping to escape where they are and arrive where they want to be. Well, you shouldn't limit that to only doing it within a 3, 4, 5 mile radius of this local business that you have. So that's 3. The fourth one is one that I've never really heard anybody in our industry talk about, but I'm going to bring it up now. And it's understanding the difference between a cash flow business and a cash out business. See, a cash flow business, a service business, really kind of falls under this umbrella most of the time. Now, I'm not going to tell you all the time, and I'll help you understand some of the differences, but a cash flow business is one where you're basically kind of siphoning off some of that profit now and investing it. It's you're creating your wealth basically day by day, week by week, year by year, instead of waiting until the end and hoping there's some pot of gold at the end of the rainbow with a cash out business. A cash out business is, hey, I'm going to build this business as an asset to sell, and that's when I'm going to reap my rewards. I'm not going to be taking nearly as much reward incrementally through the process. And the drawback to this is pretty simple, right? Number one, our businesses are really kind of personality driven, they're people driven. People have relationships, whether or not they're a relationship with you, they're a relationship with a coach, with a trainer, because we're interactive with people on such a high level. So it's harder to sell that type of business than it is a traditional retail business where there's no relationship with the staff, with a coach, with the owner, at least not at that same level. Second thing is, the type of business that we have, there probably aren't as many business opportunity buyers. Typically, the people who buy the type of business that we have, it's a person who has a vested interest in the fitness industry. They're passionate about it. Sometimes it's selling to a staff member. Sometimes it's selling to somebody who already owns another gym. But you have a narrower pool of buyers. So you don't have this opportunity to really get the bidding war started, right? There's not as many people involved. And then third, the type of business that we have, if you only have a single location, it's just not going to be something that you're going to cash out and say, man, I can retire from this amount of money that I got from this one transaction. Instead of thinking, okay, how do I sell this business for $1 million in 10 years? Better to think of, how can I take $100,000 in profit from this business year after year for 10 years and invest that money? And so now, at the end of 10 years, I have significantly more than that $1 million because of just this power of compound interest. Plus, we have access to that money throughout, that accruing money, throughout that 10-year process, instead of waiting and hoping we can find that one kind of magical situation where a buyer gives us the value we feel like our business is worth. Now, does that mean you're not going to be able to sell your business when that time comes? Not at all. What I'm telling you to do is if you want to build true wealth, you have to build a business that is scalable, systematic, that is eventually saleable, but you need to be deriving profit, siphoning it off, and investing it now and throughout that entire process that you own the business, if you're ever going to really derive the wealth that you want and deserve from being a fitness entrepreneur. So there are 4 tips or 4 ways that you can build wealth in this industry that are all really obtainable for you right now. You don't have to wait until some magical time down the line. You can start putting this stuff in place and really setting yourself up to succeed now and forever. Thanks for watching. If you click the first link in either the description or the link in the pinned comment, you can get my latest book, The Ideal Business Formula, for free. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button for me. If you have any questions or comments or video requests, leave me a comment below and I'll be quick to respond. And lastly, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm posting videos weekly now, and if you turn your notification bell on, you'll be sure to get them all.